decked on, ladies and gentlemen. Shout round of applause. Welcome to the stage, AJ. 1, 2, 3, go, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the stage, AJ.
It's good job I'm not stood too close, because I mean, I don't really want to have kids, but if anyone sneezes in the front row, it's going to fucking hurt, innit? Sir, I'm looking around. I'm seeing a lot of beautiful people. British people. And I don't know if you've ever looked at the UK much, but, well, we're a set of fucking fruitcakes, aren't we? Let's be honest. You know, how many people would win a fucking World Cup or whatever, start fighting? You don't get that much. Sir, you start around the UK, you learn the UK language, you learn the English language. How far is it going to get you? Not that fucking far, really. You're going to start up in Scotland, and you're going to go to the Scottish Highlands or whatever, and you're going to go around, and you're going to learn the language, and you're going to say, fucking hell. You know, you imagine the Scotland, right? It's the biggest cocaine country, the biggest cocaine taking country in the world. You imagine that mixed with Buckfast. They discovered Bluetooth in the 1800s. If they had that fucking brain speed, they'd have been ahead of the fucking Japanese. Fucking hell. Then you move down a country, of course, and you end up in a place called fucking Newcastle. Now, I don't know if you know a lot about the Geordies. Most of the tits round Geordie, they're all full of fucking milk, and they've all got about a 5% alcohol rating. And that is so, when you've got a bane, and you're there, weaning it off the tit, you've got to get it ready for the night out in town, haven't you? And by the age of 13, if they're not drinking glasses of fucking wine, you've bollocksed it, mate. Do you know what I mean? Then you move down a country, of course, another accent. You end up in a place called Yorkshire. Now, for those who probably noticed, the more observant of you, it's a bit of a struggle, especially when I come to a place where there's new people, all sorts of new faces, people who don't know me. The more observant of you will have noticed I'm from Yorkshire. What, that? Oh, it's just the hand life dealt me, mate. You go down a country, it's just fucking British people. Bloody hell. You go down a country, of course, you get to Yorkshire, and I've been told not to do this, but you know what, I've had a few beers, so you come across to the west side of the country, don't you? And you end up in a place called Liverpool, right? Now, I've been told the word go, right, is a bit 1960s, so I don't really know how you say it any other way, to be quite honest. So I'm just going to use the word go. But, you know, the British people were absolutely amazing people. Cups of fucking tea, fish and chips, knife crime, fucking everything, haven't we? What more do you want, like? Sorry. Try not to be racist by doing this, really. Sorry, it's my first time doing this. Sorry. I'll tell you what, we'll start in another place of the country. We'll start in Wales, right? I don't know about you. I don't believe in dragons. And there was a bloke, I drove over, I'm from Bridlington, right? I've come over from the other side of the country. And there was a bloke sat right where you are last week. And he was about 30 fucking stone. And he was Welsh. And I was sat over there. And I was thinking, you know what? I'm glad I haven't got to come here and do a fucking Welsh accent to someone. Because he'd have fucking killed me, to be quite honest. And of course, you go over the pond. And you end up in a place called Ireland. Now, I've never been myself, but they're still pretty pissed off about the 300 years potato famine. Now, once again, going back to the Welsh, they quite like to grow onions. Anyone would think the Irish had had their fucking head in a bag of peelings, the way they're going on for 300 years fucking later, of course. But, and then you go to Northern Ireland. Now, if anyone wants to do the Northern Irish accent, I'd advise to you, right? If you want to do one, you say, I, right? And I don't mean I as in I've stubbed my fucking toe. I mean, you want to say, right, you want to go to Mrs. Bryant's house over the roundabout. You got to find the T past the R. It's fucking simple, right? Oh, of course. Anyone in this room been to London? You unfortunate fuckers, right? I've been to Camden, right? Price of a fucking train ticket. Fucking hell. Fucking, you know what you ought to call Yorkshire Poor. Fucking, you want to get on a fucking Northern Rail coach? You know what? I don't give it. You know what I mean? Third class riding is better than first class walking, isn't it? Thank you.